Shalom, my name is Adam Wasser from Brooklyn, New York. On the idea of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, when I talk about the Rebbe, I have to first talk about my own experience. And I'm going to make this short as possible. My family had nothing. And we lost our family farm in Buffalo. And my father went to Israel to make Aliyah. And nobody wanted a widower with 2 children. And my father met a Chabadnik. And he wrote a letter to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the Rebbe said, don't make Aliyah to Israel. Come to Crown Heights. That's where you need to start off, and you'll see where you go in the future. We moved to Crown Heights with nothing. We just, mamish had nothing. My father got into real estate. I went to yeshiva. My sister went to Beis Rivka, the girls' yeshiva. And everybody was very welcoming. Everybody was beautiful. And I remember when I was in yeshiva, it is after the Rebbe had his stroke, and he didn't come out too much. He couldn't speak. And I remember a knock at the door, and the man would say, "The Rebbe's coming. The Rebbe's coming." It didn't mean that he was actually coming out. It was a rumor that he might be coming out. But the Rebbe would say, "Close our books. Class is dismissed. Everybody to 770." We'd get to 770, and everybody be singing Yechi Adonenu Melech Rabbeinu Melech HaMashiach B'Yom V'Od. And it was amazing. I never experienced anything like this in my life. And I didn't know who the Rebbe was. I had never even seen him or heard of him. But I was also singing Yechi Adonenu Melech Rabbeinu Melech HaMashiach B'Yom V'Od. And if the curtains would shake, as the Rebbe would come out from the curtains, it would just make the crowd even louder. And when the Rebbe finally came out, in that time that I saw him, I was just going wild. Like, I was singing, I was on the bima. It was amazing. And I could only imagine that I wished the Rebbe would look at me and give me a bracha. The next time I saw the Rebbe was when he died. And me and my family walked past his body in 770, and then we walked from Crown Heights to Queens to the cemetery and spent the night there. And I tell you, the Rebbe had such a power over somebody that even if you didn't know who he was, it was an amazing power that he gave over you because of his akdas, because of his midos, and so forth. The Rebbe, in my opinion, was the Mashiach of his generation. That if there was anybody that was the Redeemer, the person that would lead us into redemption, the Rebbe was that person. But in Judaism we learn that in every generation there is a Mashiach. There is somebody that can bring us out of this galus and into freedom. But it's up to us, the Jewish people, to make that happen through love and understanding of one another. So that Mashiach may die and a new one come about. It's just the progress of time until the Jewish people are ready. We learn from the Rambam that even when Mashiach comes, even when that redemption comes, that people will still die. That it'll take 40 years before the dead will re-arise, and even that Mashiach will die and his son will take over. The Ram from Poland in the 1500s disagrees. He says it'll be immediate and that nobody will die. The Rebbe said something interesting many years ago. He said, it doesn't have to be a war to bring Mashiach. It doesn't have to be that way. That we can bring Mashiach immediately through loving and respecting one another. This is where the Balagan becomes an issue between Chabad and the rest of the Jewish world. Because there are people in Chabad, and there are a lot of them, that believe that the Rebbe is Mashiach, and that's the way it is. And that is because there was a prophecy from the Alter Rebbe who wrote the Tanya 300 years ago. He said the last Rebbe of Chabad will be the Mashiach. And then there is the fact that the Rebbe said that through mitzvahs we can bring Mashiach immediately, so that means that the Rebbe will be immediately alive and take us out of Gullus. And then there are people that say, well, the soul never dies. When you die, your body dies, not your soul. So these whole concepts and ideas come together, and you have a group of people that are Mashiachniks, that believe that the Rebbe is Mashiach and there's nothing else. And I understand that, and I agree with that, but I don't think that that is the case. I don't think that that will happen, and I don't think that that idea is going to help the Jewish world unite. I think the Rebbe taught us, if the greatest thing the Lubavitch Rebbe ever taught us is to be unified, to work with one another, and to understand one another as Jews. And it wasn't about him, it was about bringing our redemption. Because saying Mochaech Now is not about bringing the Rebbe now. The Mashiach it's now is that we want people to stop dying. We want health in the world. We want good godliness in the world. That's why we say Mochaech Now, because that is what it means. It's not bring the Rebbe now, it's bring Mashiach now. Bring that time of glory to everyone. Chabad is a beautiful organization. It is fantastic, and it does a lot of good work. And it needs to be understood with a grain of salt of this issue that is an issue in Chabad itself, not just between Chabad and the rest of the world, but in the sect of Chabad. Ultimately, Mashiach will come one day, and I think it's going to be somebody that we never. I don't think it's going to be a man with a gray beard. I think it's going to be somebody that's just going to be, somebody maybe even like Netanyahu. And just think about it. It has to be a great war. People have to work together and become unified. What is it going to take? What kind of leader will that take? So I think it's going to be somebody that we really never expected. Somebody out of the closet. But Chabad has a very important purpose in the world when it comes to what does the Rebbe mean, because by holding on to the Rebbe as the Mashiach, that teaches us what is Mashiach and what is it all about and why do we need it. Because I know a lot of very religious Jews that are like, why do we need Mashiach? We're good off how we are. And if I say Mochaech Now, they spit in my face as if that's evil, that's wrong. God bless you all. And please understand that there's a lot of details to this issue. And it doesn't mean one is right and one is wrong. It's just a different opinion on how to go about the reality of a lack of leadership in the Jewish world at this very moment. And that we need someone physical to unite the Jewish people. God bless you all, and take care.